Before the video starts, I just wanted to say that you'll likely notice an audio difference, and that is because I got a new microphone. I typically record a bunch of videos at a time, and I tend to post them out of order based on how I'm feeling that day. So you might still get videos of the old audio after this, and you may have heard the new audio at this point. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I'm hoping this is at least a small improvement. Let me know if you think it's better. Anyway, let's get into the video. So, welcome back to Maritello Reads, where I read things that I find interesting. Today we're going to be going through an iceberg. I've always wanted to do a video like this, and I'm excited to dive in. Today we'll be looking at the childhood trauma iceberg that I found on Reddit, which goes through all the creepy and disturbing things in media that millennials and Gen Z witnessed, mostly. I think my plan is I'll most likely post a video for each tier, and then I'm going to put them all together in another video marathon style. So stay updated with this project by subscribing to the channel and make sure to hit the bell so you're notified as soon as these videos go up. It really helps the channel. Before we look into this iceberg, I also want to give a shout out to who posted the iceberg that I'm going to be looking at, which was Guff the Doge. They made the post with this iceberg chart, and if you're interested, I'll post a link to the iceberg in the description of this video so you can follow along. Now that the intro's out of the way, grab a drink, maybe a snack since this will be a long video, and let's dive right in. William Afton, the main antagonist in the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, is trapped behind the Golden Bonnie animatronic Springlock suit that has been known as Springtrap. Inside Springtrap, you are able to see the corpse of William Afton. Some people have been recreating the corpse on its own and not in the Springlock suit, and the images are very disturbing. In general, the Five Nights at Freddy games are extremely scary, especially to younger kids. The first game gained popularity when I was in middle school, and even then it was a scary game. The idea that you're able to see the corpse of William Afton decaying in the suit adds a whole other layer to the traumatizing aspects of this game. Keeping up with the same franchise, the Five Nights at Freddy's jump scares are what made the game so terrifying. Imagine playing a game about a security guard at a pizzeria. The animatronics begin to slowly make their way to the office. Suddenly, you're out of power, waiting in the darkness for an animatronic to get you. These scares are what made the game grow in popularity, and they became more terrifying and intense as the original series went on. I remember watching my sister playing the third game, and at the time, I didn't even realize what she did wrong to lose on night 3. But Springtrap seemed to come out of nowhere and scared us both silly. Definitely something I will always remember. This was a video that was supposedly made in 2001 but was uploaded to the internet in 2006. Most of the people who watched it are confused, others find it incredibly creepy. The video begins with a warning that says, in the year 2571, a video cassette was found in a pile of rubble of the ruins of a certain blue planet. What you're about to witness will not be the contents of the aforementioned cassette. This is an entirely different recording. A low-quality animated video plays with screaming in the background. It was the combination of the two that made this video so disturbing. There was a story that was going around the internet for some time that the tape was originally found in a Japanese forest, and the screaming that can be heard is of a woman who was being essayed. This story, thank goodness, was proven to be false. The true origin of the video was it was made for an art competition of strange and unusual pieces, but even with that information, in my opinion, it doesn't really make the video any less creepy or disturbing. The standard model for Bowser from the Super Mario Bros. Franchise is already intimidating enough, but what if we made him even bigger and scarier? Well, that is what happened. This version of Bowser appeared for the first time in Super Smash Bros. When you play the final boss Bowser in story mode, Bowser will KO and then transform into the secret final boss Giga Bowser. He has been added, if I'm not mistaken, to every Super Smash game ever since. If as a child you were not expecting this event to take place and thought you had finished the game only for Giga Bowser to appear, I can imagine it would be very disturbing. Ask anyone what the scariest FNAF game is for them, and there's a good chance that they'll say FNAF 4. This game just had a different feel than all the 3 games that preceded them. For starters, you aren't at a job. You're in your own home. You aren't an adult anymore. You're playing as a child, and instead of the regular animatronics that are at least made to be cute and entertaining for parties, these are nightmare animatronics. They have teeth on their stomachs, extra rows of teeth in their mouth, are tattered and torn, and they just seem to defy logic more than your other games. I can tell you after playing this game for the first time, I was terrified of the idea of Foxy coming out of my closet, and I'm sure many others had similar experiences with this game. I won't lie, I had to do a bit of research on this one. I don't play the Pokemon video games, and the character isn't one that I remember much from the show, so I had to see what the big deal was about Sabrina, and boy was I surprised. Now when I looked it up, I realized I recognized Sabrina's creepy doll. The girl gives scary vibes left and right. She talked through the creepy doll, has insane paranormal powers like telepathy and teleportation. At one point, she turns her mom and even temporarily changes Ash, Misty, and Brock into dolls. Seeing this as a kid could definitely be disturbing, especially if you were someone who stayed away from scary paranormal movies and then saw this in a Pokemon cartoon. A mob in Minecraft is short for mobile entity. These are basically any mobile characters in the game. There are 3 categories of mobs in Minecraft: passive mobs that never attack players, neutral mobs that attack players when triggered, and hostile mobs who are the most aggressive towards the player. I'm guessing this Iceberg topic is here for the latter. Hostile mobs would include skeletons, ghasts, wardens, ravengers, and of course the infamous creepers. I don't really play Minecraft, and the one time I did, I dealt with creepers so much, and the sudden appearance of these can be a bit disturbing. If you are on the internet, which I assume you are since you found my video, then you no doubtly have heard of creepypastas at least once in your life. Popular stories like Jeff the Killer, Sonic.X, Marble Hornets, Ben Drowned, and arguably the most famous Slenderman are just a fragment of the insanely large list of creepypastas. If you've never read a creepypasta in your life, it's almost impossible for you not to know about Slenderman. There's a game with a ton of remakes and parodies, as well as the famous case of the girls who stabbed their friend for Slenderman in hopes to become his proxies. However you know these characters, I would be willing to bet that you know at least one. In fact, everyone who knows at least one creepypasta should like this video and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see how right I am. That sure is how you promote. Anyway, I used to love reading these stories in middle school and high school. I liked some slightly less popular ones like 1999, Abandoned by Disney, and Your Secret Admirer. These stories were like the Goosebumps for Gen Z, and they were widely popular and made to give preteens and teenagers a good scare. And boy, did they do their job well. The Luigi's Mansion games are part of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, starring Mario's brother and sidekick Luigi. The plot is that Luigi has inherited a mansion that seems to be haunted, and Luigi basically has to become a ghostbuster to fix it. In a beta version for Luigi's Mansion, the game over screen showed Luigi in an almost zombie-like state. His face is drooped and shows no emotion, almost like there wasn't a soul in him anymore. An extremely disturbing sight for anyone that was able to get their hands on the beta game. These kinds of animations exist all over the internet now, but some of the first to appear online was Super Mario Bros. The animations used a Super Mario Bros. Model and animated them in disturbing rated MA situations. These were violent, bloody, or just vulgar in general, using cursing and disturbing and inappropriate jokes. Imagine seeing a thumbnail on YouTube for one of your favorite games as an animation, only to hear them cursing at each other or beating Toadwool pulp. Absolutely traumatizing. Multahar is a YouTuber who is the owner of the channel Some Ordinary Gamers. The channel features mostly Let's Plays, reactions, and reviews for horror games. Haunted Games was a series that he did where Multahar talked about disturbing and creepy parts of your favorite games. If you watch some of these videos and never realize the details, it could make you have a completely different perspective of the games that you once loved. What I am assuming this is referring to is the German coffee company Kaffee commercial. It starts by showing a car peacefully driving down a road for you to be jump scared by a zombie or corpse-looking creature. This was to make you awake and alert, like how you will feel after drinking their coffee. They came out with multiple variations of this commercial as well, including some fishing on a relaxing lake, some shots of a peaceful meadow, and a surfer at the beach, to name a few. There was also a story surrounding this car called the Ghost Car. To sum the story up, apparently there is some unaired footage of the commercial where the ghostly apparition can be seen in the car, but this has since proven to be untrue. Just to add a creepy story to a commercial whose jump scare has gotten me countless times makes this commercial even scarier than it was before. So this is most likely on the Iceberg for similar reasons as the Mario sprite animation. People animated through MS Paint and made parodies of SpongeBob in inappropriate situations, whether it be bad language, violence, or anything else really. And again, as the internet grew, these parodies were much more common to find, but those MS Paint ones are still creepy to me to this day. I'm not 100% sure what they mean by inflation scenes. I'm guessing this is referring to movies and TVs that involve a person inflating. The first example that comes to mind for me is Harry's aunt from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. These are all over the media, and I can see as a child that this is something that could scare you. Like, it could be something that could potentially happen to you. Wait, what is it about? Anime girls Ew, I'm not talking about that! The Scary Maze game is an infamous jump scare game that people would use to prank their friends. They would send the link to their friends as a joke, have them play the game, and the jump scare would randomly happen in the middle of the game. If people had the joke played on them, there's no doubt it scarred them for life. I was fortunate enough to not have any friends make me play this game, but I have seen plenty of over-the-top reactions on YouTube, and I'm very glad I was not a victim of this traumatic prank. I know the title of this one is freaky enough as is. Invader Zim was one of my favorite shows as a kid. For those of you who grew up in the post-Invader Zim era or ones who need a quick refresher to the show, it was about an alien named Zim. He is the smallest of his kind and has been sent to Earth on a pity mission to be invaded. His rival in the school was named Dib. He was the son of a scientist and obsessed with the idea that aliens are real. The series basically follows Zim as he tries to fit in the human world without Dib or anyone else finding out and exposing his true identity. The episode that this Iceberg entry is referring to is called Dark Harvest. The plot of the episode is basically Zim thinks it would be helpful for him to have human organs so he won't be exposed if anyone decides to look at them. So naturally, Zim harvests random organs from his classmates and puts them inside himself to make it look like he has human organs. This, even for the time and for this TV show, was extremely disturbing for kids to tune into, and to this day, it still disturbs me and any others who remember this episode. I won't lie, I never really picked up on this death as a kid, but it seems pretty on brand for Disney villain deaths at the time. Clayton from Tarzan basically accidentally hangs himself on a vine. Roscoe and DeSoto from Oliver and Company, electrocuted and thrown off a moving vehicle with extremely realistic dog whimpers. And Scar, eaten alive by hyenas. Yeah, I'm not sure how I never realized this is what happened when I was a kid, but Simba comes home, takes his rightful place as leader of his pride at the end of The Lion King, and when he overthrows Scar, who promised food to the hyenas, Scar becomes the food that he promised, and the hyenas devour him. It's crazy what people got away with in kids programming in the 2000s and 2010s. This is another topic where, though it's extremely popular, I never really got into, so I had to look up the Sailor Moon villains and try to figure out why they induced childhood trauma. After all, it's a cutesy looking anime, what's there to be disturbed by? Boy, was I dumb. Because after reading the backstories of just a few villains, I'm already creeped out by what I heard. A lot of these origin stories could each be individual horror movies. Let's start with Dr. Tomo. He was a respected scientist that was trying to use the eggs of creatures called diamonds to make humans stronger. One of these experiments even killed his wife. In the end, he's infected with one of these diamonds, and he uses his newly mutated intelligence to make monsters for another villain of the show. Or Ali and Anne. These two were part of a dying race of aliens. The alien population was declining because their tree of life became ill. Ali and An believed that the only way to make the tree of life healthy again was to feed it humans. Freaky. These are just two of the villain origin stories. Some of these origins are in the anime and others are found in the manga. If you haven't learned the origins of some of the Sailor Moon villains, I highly recommend that you do. Missing Number was a glitch found in Pokemon Red and Blue. It was a glitch from using a dual-type bird-normal Pokemon. The Pokemon seems to just appear as static and possesses a blank cry when battling. The image itself is quite disturbing, and I'm sure at the time plenty of urban legends were made about this glitch. This one, I feel needs no explanation. Most of us in some capacity have witnessed or grew up on SpongeBob. I don't think that it was as popular of a method in later seasons, but the first few seasons there was instances of close-ups of characters or their clothing or their surroundings, and it looked so realistic yet so unrealistic at the same time. It just creeped out a lot of kids. There's a word for this phenomenon, and it's the same reason that people are afraid of things like dolls. It's called uncanny valley. But this phenomenon is basically why these close-ups freaked us out as kids. There you go, you learned something new. And just like that, we finished the first tier of the childhood trauma iceberg. If you want to see the rest of the iceberg, please let me know by dropping a like and subscribing to my channel. I typically try to post some kind of content every single day. If there are any other icebergs I should check out, leave those in the comments below as well. I am so excited to share this series with you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!